Welcome to the France 24 Observers. This show is based on our network of observers. They're ordinary people who tell us what's going on where they are and send in photos and videos to document it. We check everything here in Paris and bring the best to you. We begin today with another cameraman killed in Homs in Syria. Like his comrades, Bassel Aljihad was not a journalist. He was a film student studying in the US on a prestigious Fulbright scholarship. But he couldn't see what was going on in Homs and not be there himself. So he returned to help document what the Syrian military was doing to his city and to train others in how to handle a camera. Bassel was killed by a Syrian rocket on May 28th when he was out with a group of students. Our observer Rami had warned him of the dangers just the day before.
Bassel was a film student. He set himself up in the old city of Homs. He was training young activists, teaching them how to edit video. He taught them Adobe Premiere and Corel Video Studio. He also taught them how to film, how to use a camera. He took them out into the field. He made them film tanks and soldiers while shells were falling around them. We had warned him the day before he died. We told him that his daring was going to get him killed one day. Then the next day, he took his students to a neighborhood called Safi. He wanted to film the shelling. But the soldiers saw them filming. They fired RPGs at them. Bassel's dream was to make a film about what happened in Homs. We owe him, as friends, to finish the film for him.
In times of economic hardship, people often look for scapegoats, someone to take out their frustration on. Now, we saw a couple of weeks ago that far-right groups in Greece are trying to stir up anger against immigrants. But the crisis is not just being felt in Europe, it's hit hard in Israel too. Here's our observer, David Sheen.
These protests have been ongoing for a year and a half at the very least. At one of these protests, these anti-African protests that occurred a few weeks ago in May, there was several hundred people, up to 1,000 people, who had descended upon this South Tel Aviv neighborhood. Many residents and also many people from outside the neighborhood, including politicians. And after this protest, just people began to mob, just began to take over the streets and chase down journalists, chase down people who were perceived as sympathetic to these non-Jewish African people, and chase down any dark-skinned person that they found. There's a paranoia among many Jewish people that if they're ever in a situation where they're not in the majority of the population of the country, then they're at, threat of their lives. But at the same time, there's also, it should be said, like a not small part of the population who authentically believes that there should only be Jewish people living here, that they see the ethnic cleansing of the country as something that they want to happen.
Next up, a look at some of the images sent in this week by our observers. First stop, China, with the blogger Zuola and an amazing chance discovery. He was on a train recently and happened to meet a woman whose husband had participated in the Tiananmen massacre 23 years ago this month. She was carrying with her photographs that her husband had taken the day after the massacre. Zuola took pictures of the photos and posted them on the internet. The remarkable pictures have somehow escaped the censorship around the Tiananmen anniversary, and they're circulating on social networks. Now to Bahrain, with a video sent to us via Twitter by Liliane. We already knew that the authorities in Bahrain have been using a lot of tear gas to put down anti-regime demonstrations. But this video shows something else. Police officers shooting a tear gas canister directly into a house through the window. Our Bahraini observers tell us it's meant to discourage demonstrators from taking shelter in local residents' homes. A dangerous technique. Activists say more than a dozen people were killed in Bahrain last year because of tear gas, in several cases when it was used inside enclosed structures. That's it for this week, but you can continue to follow our observers online. Check out our website for the latest reports, our Facebook and Twitter pages, and our iPhone app. See you next time, here or online.